I know I might sound like a broken record, but we need to talk about personal conveyance again. Hello and welcome to Safety Update with Sam. That's me. Like I said in the intro there, I know I might sound like a broken record because we talk about personal conveyance a lot, or PC for those in the business. We talk about it a lot. The problem is that we kind of keep breaking the rules. So we need to talk about it again because honestly, you guys have a lot of questions, and that's fine. I always say, if you have questions about this stuff, ask me, and you are, which, cool. Keep it up. That's what I'm here for. But I thought I would address it again in the video. I know I've made videos on PC before, but let's be honest, you're not going back and watching some of the old videos, and I get it. You know, some of the old ones are old, I guess. I don't know. So we're going to address it now today again because, like I said, I've seen, so just for your information, every day I get a report sent to my email directly that lists all the personal conveyance moves that were done the previous 2 days. Goes back, I don't know why it's 2 days, that's the way the report runs. But so I go through that list every day, okay? I look at everybody's PC, and you might be saying, well, that's, that seems like it takes up a lot of time. Sometimes it does. Sometimes you guys use a lot of PC, but I go through it because if you were to get pulled over by DOT and, they look at your logbook, whatever, and they have questions about personal conveyance use, and you don't have a good reason why you were on PC, they're going to get you a falsification of logs violation. So I'm trying to avoid that, okay? I'm not here to be, the guy that picks apart everything, but I'm trying to help you guys not get violations for personal conveyance, okay? It's an easy one to avoid if you do it. So anyways, I want to go back over the PC rules again, just to kind of tell you what they are, because there are some in there that are kind of goofy and that I don't necessarily agree with, but that doesn't mean we don't have to follow them. So anyways, the rule of thumb, I always say, if you've been through orientation in the last 6 months or whatever, the rule of thumb that I always usually say with PC is if we tell you to do something, you can't use PC in that. For 90% of the things, that will play in part. There are like that 10% though that still PC doesn't factor into. So here's the biggest one. The biggest one that you're going to use PC for is if you get to a shipper receiver and while they're loading you or unloading you, you run out of drive time, okay? Or you run out of work time. You can use personal conveyance to go to the closest safe haven. Now, hear me when I say this. You can't go to your favorite safe haven. You can't be like, well, man, I got a ton of points at the Loves that's 60 miles away. I'm going to pass these 14 Flying J's on the way there so I can go use my points. Nope, that's not going to work, okay? You got to go to the closest safe haven that you can, okay? And I understand truck parking is a beast out there. Sometimes the closest safe haven doesn't have parking. You can PC to the next one and the next one, okay? I'm just saying, you got to be able to park somewhere. I get it. But that is the biggest one that you'll probably use personal conveyance for, okay? Is if you run out of hours at a shipper receiver and they don't let you park there, you can use PC to get down the road, okay? The other big one that you might use PC for is if you have to go get groceries or you're going out to dinner or any personal reason you're using that truck, okay? That makes sense? Now here's the kicker, and this one always kind of seems to trip some people up here. If you're bobtailing, if you're not pulling a trailer, if you're pulling an empty trailer, that doesn't mean you can PC, okay? That's usually seems to be the biggest one that reason I should say, that I get from drivers that, well, I'm not pulling a load, so I'm just using personal time to get over there. That doesn't matter. If you're going to a shipper receiver or you're going to the shop or you're going to go get your truck washed or something along the lines of that, you can't use PC, okay? Just because you're empty or not even pulling a trailer doesn't mean that you're using that truck for purely personal reasons, okay? So you got to make sure that if you're going to run PC, that you're using it, like I said, to go get groceries, to go out to eat, something like that. Owner operators, if you're taking your truck to a shop, you can't use PC for that. I'm just saying. Again, I'm not saying that I necessarily agree with all of these, but I'm saying this is what the FMC has laid out. Okay. The biggest one. Did I say that about the previous ones? If I did, I'm sorry. This is the biggest one. Okay. And this one, I have a little beef with the FMCSA, but the rule's a rule. If you deliver, and after your delivery you're going home, you cannot use personal conveyance to go home, okay? I know, again, I think that's a personal move going home, but the FMCSA does not consider that. They consider it a continuation of the load, okay? So you cannot use personal conveyance to go home after you deliver a load, okay? Watch that one, because, and here's the deal. Is a DOT officer going to stop and say, hey, you did this wrong or you shouldn't be under that? 8 out of 10 times, they're going to let you go. Those 2 times, they're not going to, okay? So just keep that in mind. If you're going home after a load, make sure that you get your drive time available because you will need that to get home, okay? Another one that some of the drivers I've told you can use, and it's perfectly fine, is if you are commuting back and forth between the home terminal. You can use PC for that time, okay? So anyways, there's very few times you can use PC. If in doubt, don't use it. If you don't need to, don't use personal conveyance unless you know you're doing something purely for personal reasons, okay? And if you have questions about PC, again, feel free to reach out to me. But like I said, I felt like we need to make another safety update. I'm sure we'll probably make more in the future about PC, but if you need to get out of a shipper and receiver, you can use PC there. If you need to go do personal things with your truck, you can use PC there. And that's it. I mean, you can use PC fully loaded. You know, you could be pulling a load behind you and still use PC to go get groceries and stuff like that. So pulling a trailer empty, loaded, bobtailing really has nothing to do with PC. Okay, it's all in how you are using the truck. That's basically what it boils down to. So please don't think that just because you're empty, you can use PC everywhere. You can't. If you owner-operators do this one a lot, I'm looking at you guys, PCing to set yourself up for another load. So you deliver in like Jackson, Mississippi, and you're like, hey, that Nashville market's hot. I'm going to PC up there to hopefully get a better load up there. Can't do it. Okay, that's advancing your position for load. You can't do it. So anyways, all right, I'm sure you're all sick of PC talk. If you have questions, contact me. My contact information is at the bottom. But yeah, rule of thumb, try not to use PC if you can. And if you're going to use it, know how you're using it and know that you're doing it correctly. And if you have questions, I'm the guy to talk to. All right, let's take a look at some dash cam. Okay, here we go. We've got a dash cam from Nebraska. See, sometimes I know where these are at. This one's from Nebraska though. And this was one of, sorry, my mic pack is falling down there. This was, well, you'll see here. So we're following a car, we're turning left, and it's raining. It just got done raining. So here we go. I'm gonna play it. And we see the lights red, and we bump into the back of the car, pushing him forward. So not a high speed wreck by any means, but I wanted to show you guys this one today because it was raining at the time, but we're coming into the winter months and it's going to get slick out there, okay? And this driver, if you notice, get the ladybug off my monitor. If you notice right before they make contact, like you can see they're on the brakes, like you could see the chatter in the mirrors and in the camera. So they're on the brakes. The problem is the road's too slick and they're just coming up and they rear end the car. I just want to give you guys a heads up on this stuff here. The roads are going to start getting slick. I mean, if you've been out west, you already have seen snow. We haven't seen any here in the Midwest yet, or at least in Illinois. But I know there's been some up north. It's here, guys. Okay, winter is here. Make sure that you are looking at the light and the car. Okay, I know that gets difficult sometimes out there. This car couldn't see the light behind that semi, and once that semi turned and they realized, oh shoot, that light is red, they slam on their brakes, and we just didn't have enough time to stop our rig. These cars don't know how long it takes us to stop. They don't know that, with the slick roads, yeah, they might be able to stop, but we can't because we have that weight pushing us forward. So as we're coming into the slick time here, just make sure that you are trying to give yourself enough room in between the car in front of you and the truck, because this is going to be pretty common. And like I said, they slam on their brakes. They slammed on their brakes pretty late too. Like, they were already pretty much in the intersection. I know the driver thought that they were going to keep going, but they obviously had different plans in mind. So unfortunately, we ran to the back of them. Here's the other thing too, on something like this. We're still dealing with this accident. Yeah, it was minor and whatnot, but we're still dealing with this, like, as far as insurance goes. Because, with something like this, of course, they've got a little back pain and stuff like that. And this has been, I could tell you right now, this was over a year ago that this dash cam happened. And like I said, we're still dealing with it. So even these little minor incidences that happen, sometimes they drag out and they drag out and they drag out. So just be careful of that, okay? Again, try to imagine or try to put yourself in the driver's shoes of the vehicle. And again, I think this Lexus in front of us made his decision way too late and decided to slam on his brakes. And you can see we tried and we just didn't. So be cautious out there. That's what I'm going to say to you guys. Be cautious out there. Again, the roads are going to start getting slick. Try not to get yourself in a position like this, okay? So anyways, if you have any feedback, comments, questions, concerns, whatever, again, feel free to reach out to me. All my contact information is at the bottom. I appreciate what you guys do out there. It's not an easy job, and you guys are doing a good job of it. I think that was meant to be a compliment. Hopefully that came out as a compliment, because I've kind of heard what I said. Is you guys are doing a good job out there, okay? We're doing good. Keep it up, all right? So if anything comes up, please let me know. But if not, as always, make sure that when you're out there on the road, while they're getting slicker, make sure that you drive safe.